Welcome to the Chromaniacs, everyone. Your weekly look inside San Diego FC and MLS, episode number 18 of the Chromaniacs as we continue our journey toward the 2025 Audi MLS Cup playoffs. They are just a few weeks away. SDFC will be in them. Where they will be and who they will face, well, the next couple of fixtures will decide that over the next 3 weeks. I'm Craig Elston, joined by our Chromaniacs, as always, Tony Sanchez and Alex Pena. Tony, how are you, buddy?
Look, feeling a little under the weather, and it has nothing to do with what just happened at Wrigley Field, surprisingly, but that didn't help. But we're here to talk soccer. We're here to talk about the San Diego team that's still in playoffs, San Diego FC. Alex?
Man, yeah, I hope this serves as a palate cleanser for everybody on a Friday morning, afternoon. Yeah, we have some good stuff to talk about, and hopefully we'll see San Diego FC winning some playoff soccer matches. And hey, look at us, we made it to the 18 Threads episode finally.
One episode for each and every one of our ratified official cities of San Diego County. Thank goodness we just knocked off the national city one here tonight, and we're set. Thanks to everybody for being here. We really appreciate you. This is still a first-year podcast. It's an independent endeavor that has no corporate backing, has no team backing. It is 100% listener supported. So that means it's supported by you. So thank you for supporting us. If you're watching on YouTube and you can hit that thumbs up button, it takes no time at all. It takes like half a second. Boom, thumbs up. That helps the show. If you can click subscribe, hit the notifications bell, you'll be notified every single time that we go live for post-match shows and every time we bring you new programming. For everybody who's listening to the audio version of the show, thank you for being there. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. I hope whatever is in your vision right now is something pleasant to you. And if you can give us that little 5-star review within the podcast app that you're in, whether it's Spotify or Google Play or Apple Podcasts or whatever, that's going to help us along the way. Kind written review does as well. That's all the housekeeping. Very, very, very light. I have spent my last 72 hours with my nose up the Padres. And now, if I had the hat, throw the hat, switch the hat, let's go back in time. Let's rewind to a team that is also kind of slowing down as it heads to the finish line with a playoff berth definitely secure, but questions remaining as to the group's overall playoff viability. It is SDFC time. I guess the very first thing I would say is, Cromados, it's your turn. You now have the opportunity. You never knew until today, specifically, that you had the opportunity to be the first San Diego major sports championship team to claim a national championship. You're the first. You can be the first. The Padres could have beat you to it, but they did not. They did not. So you're next. I'm not exactly counting on the Wave to join you in the party, but I would love it if they did. But you've got a chance, SDFC. Our county turns its lonely eyes to you, all 18 boroughs. We are all hungry, and you've got what we need to satiate our appetite. Playoff victories. Please, please, please.
Isn't it disappointing? Yeah, the way I envisioned this from like the very start of summer, once we kind of felt like this team, San Diego FC, was reaching that point of like, oh yeah, they're gonna make the playoffs. We're gonna see these guys play in October. I thought both teams were gonna be playing in October, like making a deep run.
They did.
Playing at the same time. Oh, well, what I mean is playing at the same time. Yeah, where you did have to make a choice, right? Are you going to go to both? Are you going to go the Padres and then go to San Diego FC, go to the Snapdragon afterwards? And then today happened and that bubble burst and we won't get to see that. But yeah, all the attention turns to San Diego FC. Yeah, they have something. They have something to prove out there, and you could win a trophy. That the MLS Cup is still up for grabs. It can be anybody's game once you reach the playoffs, and hopefully SanDiego.FC can flip the switch, because if San Jose was any indication, they haven't done that as of late.
I just saw you, Alex, like have that optimism in that beginning part of what you were saying, and then slowly just kind of realize that, like, this is still a San Diego team. This still, you just kind of remember what just happened a couple of hours ago, and it's just like and that's just the reality of it. Where San Diego FC have a chance now to have all the go San Diego marquees on the buses say go SDFC, and they don't have to worry about that. And Manny Machado can now root for the team that he owns instead of the team that he plays for. And um, but that's neither here nor there, because SDFC also need to pick it up. And I think everybody knows that you can create and generate all sorts of offense. You can go ahead and do that, but if you don't score, is it really worth anything? Because if you don't get that ball across the line, you're not going to win, and you're not going to move forward. San Diego FC have had a couple of tough matches where the last part of the puzzle, the last piece of the puzzle, is what's been missing, and that's just tapping the ball in. And Pellegrino can't seem to do it. Valacari, it's just been difficult for everybody to get that goal in a meaningful way that earns a victory. Not just a tie, but a victory.
Just continuing through this kind of analogy, transitional start to the program. Last year I was devastated when the Padres lost in the playoffs because I thought they had a team that was good enough to win the World Series. This year, I didn't. Because of injuries, because of degradation of performance in certain areas. I felt like the Padres had a good enough team to maybe win a series, or maybe two, but I didn't think they had enough to go all the way. And when they were exposed and shut down by a team that had strengths that countered their weaknesses here in Chicago, I felt a lot of acceptance. Like, well, you kind of went as far as you can go, and you lost to a team that had the ability to beat you. You didn't beat yourself. It's not something to be, never mind. I'm not going to redo my Padres podcast. There's plenty of things that you can go find Padres Hot Tub and find those things if you want to hear all of those things. What I'd like from SDFC is for them to not follow the same path, because right now, being perfectly honest with you, if SDFC went out in the first round, I wouldn't be devastated. I'd probably be somewhat accepting, because I feel like through injuries and degradation in performance in the second half, that this club right now doesn't have what it takes to win it all, and to win, 3 playoff rounds to get to a final and win a final. It's not that they can't, but it's a question. And one of the things you brought up, Alex, right before we hit record, in a Padres cross analogy, Manny Machado played basically every game this year and was worn down. Tatis played about every game this year and looked like he was either worn down or ready to hit the beach by the end. And a lot of the guys were, just kind of worn down. And when you look at the veterans on the SDFC side that really haven't had major backups or understudies that could take their positions, I'd imagine there's a lot of guys that are careening toward or have already well surpassed their career minutes totals.
Yeah, isn't that right? Like we're close to Anders Dreyer reaching almost 3,000 minutes for SanDiego FC, and he did play when he was out in Europe. He was playing out in Europe till December, right? And then he flew over here in January, met up with the team, had a preseason. So he only had a short time before just taking a break, taking some time off. And I think that was the same case for Chucky Lozano. But Chucky has, had injury, and he's been out some sporadically during the year. But yeah, him, Yepe, they've seen a lot of minutes out of these two guys. And yeah, it's something I mentioned on a text that, if you're not redlining, you're not headlining. And I think they redline these guys all the way to the playoffs, and without any backups or, really good options behind them. It's just the way they had to do it, and they did. And same for the Padres. They had to play, Manny and Tatis as much as they could to try to win as many games. And SanDiego.FC did the same thing. And I actually was looking at it today. Their first half and their second half are almost identical. They can actually win more games in the second half than they did in the first half, unbelievably, because they have 2 games remaining. But it's 30 points on that side. I think it's just 27 points on this side, but they can still get more points and more wins somehow. And yeah, they're doing the best they can with what they have.
Yeah, and talking about those minutes, right? Honors Dreyer last year played 3,264 minutes. This year, right now, he's at 2,840 minutes played this in MLS. So, that's something that you have to really just take into consideration. It's just, where are these players heading? And in soccer, there's just two different schools of thought, where there's sometimes an over reliance on one player, and once you take care of that player, that's it. That offense is done. That team is done. Whether that's an offensive player, midfielder, or defender, if you can neutralize that threat, you pretty much stomp on that team. But with SDFC, it's a little bit different, where it's such a team mentality that if you figure out and unlock the team, it's just a ship taking water. It's a boat just starting to slowly, slowly, slowly sink. But the thing is, Mikey Varas somehow, every single time, has been able to repair it enough, not just to say, "Oh wow, like you stopped the water for coming on." No, they improved on it, and they've been able to come back and jump back into where they were. I think what's one of SanDiego.FC's most impressive qualities this season is their ability to bounce back. And right now, it's the perfect time to bounce back. Why not right into playoffs? Why not in that series of 3 to start that bounce back for SanDiego.FC?
Let's get into some of the stories from the week. Of course, SDFC over the weekend lost 1-0 at home to San Jose. We did a full post-match show on Saturday night about the match. If you missed it, it's the one right behind you in your feed, either on YouTube or on your podcast feed. So check it out. We can get into it a little bit as we went along. It's basically the same old song and dance for SDFC at home. Controlling possession, controlling chances, missing on early chances, a goal scored against the run of play, and then a team that is able to bunker in, lock down, and SDFC doesn't have that central solution, and their wings are getting doubled and harassed all the time. It's, it's pretty much, I think, what all the MLS clubs have decided is the way to beat SanDiego.FC. And unless there's, and we'll talk about it shortly, an improvement in personnel, people coming back and getting healthy, options being offered, seems to me like SDFC's win condition is to have Anders Dreyer and Chucky Lozano contribute to goals. And if it doesn't happen, they've got a pretty hard time winning games.
Yeah, Chucky Lozano, as we saw in this game, is one thing that you can tell the team war is his frustration. Since that first moment where he missed that one-on-one with the goalkeeper to just lob it over, there was a sense of frustration where he came back and he tried again. He tried again. Different looks and different dangerous plays that we not necessarily haven't seen Chucky have that intensity on offense. And he was getting it. He was doing it, but the ball just wasn't going in. And the more that game wore on, you can tell the frustration, not just on his face with fouls and strong challenges and arguments with the ref and little moments of lack of focus, and it just spread throughout the team. And that's where, again, that team mentality and the team aspect rather hurts a soccer team, where if one person goes down, that slowly starts infecting through the 11 and into the bench and into everybody on the bench too. And that's just not necessarily going to be conducive to a good time. But if they can maintain focus and maintain their composure, I think that's something that SanDiego has to do. Is just be composed and do the thing that you've been doing all year. Do the thing that every time I ask Mikey Varas, hey, what's going to be different? Oh, well, we're going to stick to our principles and we're going to stick to our discipline. Okay, now's the time to do that. Now is the time more than ever. I don't care if it's week 3, match day 6, match day 10. Match day now is when that needs to happen.
And I think this brings up a question that I've been thinking about since, like, preseason is, like, is Chucky Lozano the featured player to try to score goals? Because it to me, like, throughout his career, it just doesn't seem like he's always, like, the guy for that job, whether that's at PSV or Napoli or, any of the places he's been to before, but probably Pachuca, but, um, it feels like, now in his career, it seems like he's more of, like, the creator. He can give you an assist. He can, you know, be the guy that most teams are going to mark and, "Here you go, Marcus Barton. Here's the ball, and, you shoot it." Um, I felt like that was the direction this team was going, especially since they had, Chucky on one side, Anders on Dreyer, and you just needed that guy in the middle to try to help them out. So, like, when I see Chucky trying to do everything he can on the field, like, I know he's trying his hardest because there's no one else out there that's gonna do it. It's always gonna be him. He and Dreyer too, but it's like that's a lot of pressure on 2 guys that have played a lot this season. They they're your goal scorers. Like, the majority of goals come from them, and the other guy that's in Philly, but, that's it. I mean, that's pretty much who's making these goals for you, and, and yeah, it's been hard to watch this season not having that other guy that we know that was the reason why Marcus Barca was brought in, because it was like, "This is how we're gonna line it up, and it's gonna work. It's just gonna this is the whole system right here," and we just never got to see it go.
Well, Tony,
Well,
let's talk about Ingvartsen because Mikey Raudas this week indicating, based on the reporting of the intrepid SanDiego.Futbol, that Ingvartsen Portland, maybe the season finale, October 18th, could be a time to see number 7 back on the pitch. Could that be as a tune-up to become a regular featured player in the Audi MLS Cup playoffs, or could it be uh, much more of a tryout to see if we can keep Woody the toy soldier on his feet?
I think it's more the latter, where you have your dead battery in the car and you take it to AutoZone and you're like, I need a new battery, but I'm gonna leave it there all day so they can charge it, and then I'm gonna pick it up later, and you're gonna hook it up to your car, and your car's still probably not gonna start. It might spark a little bit, it might get you there, but it's not gonna be necessarily a long-term thing. And I think that's what San Diego FC is gonna try with Marcus and Varson here in the season finale with Portland. And look, that's the missing piece. That's the missing piece right there. And I don't care if it's 100% Marcus and Varson. If he can give you a half, look at what he did with San Jose. If he can give you some sort of minutes, look at what this team is able to do with somebody who's competent in the 9 position. And by competence, I don't necessarily want to, take a dump on anybody else, but Pellegrini just isn't that answer. Tomas Angel hasn't been that answer. Balakari, you can tell he's a midfielder. He's much more worth having in a different position than the 9. You are better with Balakari in that midfield. But for Marcus and Varson, hopefully that just means for him is he comes back healthy and able to contribute to this team that, I know for a fact it pains him because he's never had a setback like this in his career. He's never had so much time away and not being able to contribute. And as a goal scorer, you have to run on confidence. And yeah, you can throw him out there for the last game and hopefully he does something positive. But I hope that if he is able to come back, he gets that confidence to restart this team and have Chucky and Dreyer be able to have that pressure off of them a little bit. And like you said, Alex, Chucky isn't necessarily the be all end all goal scorer. He never really was. He's that disruptor that's going to go ahead and create plays and kind of distract you over here because the goal's coming right through the middle. And right now, these attackers don't have that. And unless Pellegrino, unless I mean, I keep saying unless, but there's nobody on the bench who I can think can unlock this team like Marcus and Barson.
Yeah, and to help you out here, Tony, he did once in his career. He was out with Genk for the Belgian league, where they won the league because Belgium, they have those weird rules, and they do a special little playoff. But he was out for most of the season, pretty much almost like 95% of the season, and he gave 20 minutes in the playoffs, and that's all she wrote. But Genk won the league, so maybe he's like, well, I did it before with this other team. I was out most of the season, and they were doing fine, and maybe I just need to stay out. Let them work it out, and then I'll jump in when they need me. It could happen. It, it, it happened before, but with yeah, we need something. We need some sort of production out of that 9 position because yeah, rolling out Pellegrino's not really the answer. I think he's a better suited player if he comes off the bench, and I think that's kind of where, like, okay, give me 20 minutes when we need a bit of a score. Try to get one in here. For some tired legs, or um, you know the best option I think of is just Corey Baird, but they haven't used him there yet, and then everybody else behind him isn't really an option. I mean, you have Mighton, you have Angel. I think we've written off Angel already, and everybody else. It's just like that's it. We don't have any other options. It's just
No, that's it.
two guys, and we're done. We're the discussions is over. It's just two
Well,
other guys.
the question I would ask Tony is mostly in relation to Baird because he came in around the same time as Pellegrino and did take an injury in his very first outing for SDFC. So I don't know if that compromised his training time, his ability to integrate into the offense, but just the fact that the last multiple games, the choice has been Pellegrino and it's not been Baird. That's minutes that could have been spent integrating Baird more into the front line. Instead, Pellegrino's been an absolute zero. I don't know what we've invested in, but nothing has come out of it other than a goal conceded and maybe 2 points dropped because he played dumbly, and stayed in an offside position and then didn't get the flag. It didn't touch the ball to get the flag. So I just I'm curious about, because I don't know, is if Baird in training and in the club's internal evaluations has proven to be much more of the FC Cincinnati, okay, he can move, he can pass a little, but he's really not a factor, as opposed to the Rookie of the Year version of Corey Baird from a couple of years back, and that the club has just decided, nah, Baird ain't it. We took a flyer, but he just ain't it.
Yeah, I mean, with such a modular play style, right? You need the right piece to fit there, and I think they were trying to smooth the edges off Corey Baird, but they really haven't been able to do that. And something that Mikey Vadas has mentioned is that they're looking for a polished product to go into playoffs and be the best version of themselves. And I don't think Corey Baird necessarily fits that model right now. And because, yeah, in training he may do individual plays, but does he fall in line with that style? Does he fall in line with what the book says? If you're meant to cut in to pass back, but you have a free lane, are you going to go ahead and take that? And I do think that Corey Baird is going to be suited as a substitute. And the thing is, like, what you saw from Corey Baird is somebody who is an outsider of the style coming in, and he just stands out even more because you're like, oh, that guy's not running to the same beat. Like, it's a different metronome that he's going on, and he will stand out. And then you have that something like, oh wow, like that's somebody who we need more of. And the thing with Pellegrino, and I don't want to necessarily justify it, is maybe after, I'm not justifying it after San Jose. That offside play was it it gave me an aneurysm, just soccer wise. But he's been close. Like, he's been so close. And that's where, yeah, he hasn't converted, but he's in the right positions as it can be. So is that mean an extra 20 minutes in finishing for him and he's going to be ready for real game time minutes? I'm not sure, but at this point, Corey Baird needs to be, unleashed out there, and it also has to do a lot with fitness for a lot of these players. Fullbacks can't go full 45. Then that's just a reality. And by having fullbacks not go a full 45, and you have two different players go in, then you have a style that almost gets reset. You have players that need to get embedded in the game and the game flow. But by that time, you kind of disrupt what Chucky and Anders Dreyer have been having on the wings. So then creating through the middle is a little more difficult because again, you kind of you just change that. It's a bucket of cold water in fresh legs, but the fresh legs aren't educated in the right to dream style sometimes.
Oh man, yeah, it's it's frustrating when we have a pretty good fullback and he's out there playing in international play too, and he's done really well. Bambino has played amazingly throughout this whole season, and it feels like yeah, this is a time when we needed him like the most, and he's not here, and it just it's difficult to comprehend like why would they do these tournaments like right now when they're playing well, and it seems like they might get that third game when they have to play Portland. So he might miss another game if they get to that point. And again, I understand those games, they give you exposure. It's great for Bombino to be there, but at the same time, it is hurting us in that position. And it's not the same with Ian Pilcher or Franco Negri or whoever. So it's like we have a great fullback, and he's not here
How did it make you feel, Alex and Craig, that they played against France today,
today.
and Bombino had 0 minutes, did
Soma
not touch the
too.
field.
Yeah.
So
They played. Yeah, they both played
they
45
did
in the
play.
last match, but that game was out of reach anyway, and it was a 9-1 win for the US. And like yeah, it's like you're getting limited playing time, and what does it all mean at the end? And for San Diego FC fans, it doesn't mean much. They want to see Bombino here and helping the team out as much as possible.
Yeah, what it means for MLS fans is that when the league switches to the winter-spring schedule as opposed to the spring-summer schedule, these will be games missed in the beginning of the season that won't matter as much as matches missed at the end of the season. But also, we have an American goofy, way too big playoff structure, like too big by more than double. Like it's ridiculous how big the playoff structure is. It's so American. It's the Ford F-150. Even though this is the Audi playoff cup, it's an oversized Ford raised up, killing pedestrians size playoff. So what does it really matter if SDFC finishes first, second, or third? What matters is if you lift the cup at the end, and you can do it from any of those positions. So, if you build a league in a style in which the matches don't matter because the playoff invites in 9 of 15 teams, then missing a couple games in an international window shouldn't bother us because we're already in the fun house.
Yeah, that's true. I just want the team to do well. That's all it is.
I mean, did you guys see the video that SDFC put out when they asked their players of if they understood the playoff structure? Have you seen that, Craig?
No.
Oh
gosh.
And none of them do. Like they're all like, oh, but it's aggregate. Oh, it's
You show up.
Let's see, I have this muted. Yes, I do. Unmute this. Cool. And you start with Alex Mighton. Yeah.
We win. We win again. We win again. We win the trophy.
No idea.
Alright. I'm gonna try and go for this.
Honestly, don't know. Just win the games and it's good, I guess. First round is best 2 out of 3, and the hosting team plays at home.
where you play at the higher seeds first, and then you go away, and then you take a big break, and then
for each conference, and it goes into a quarterfinal and semifinal and final.
Well, that's me. I don't know.
Been in the league a dozen years. Sorry.
No idea. I mean, hey, it's all good. Your backup goalkeeper knows them.
I was gonna say Cisniega,
Locked
MLS
in.
veteran,
He's locked
knows
in,
what's what. Pellegrino, but dude, you've been here forever. Now, in
He's
his
been
defense,
here for 2 years.
in his defense, MLS has probably changed the playoff system 2 times in 2 years. So
Yeah.
I kind of get it, but nonetheless, that's pretty funny. That's pretty
Oh my
funny.
God.
Now, as a transition, while Luca Bambino is away and negatively impacting San Diego's hopes in Houston on Saturday, Luca de la Torre was not called by Polk. He has been left off the U.S. men's national team roster for October, which means, of course, he's fully available for San Diego FC. The way Luca de la Torre played the last couple of months, guys, why would Team USA call him to the national team?
I don't know. I really it seems like Pochettino has, taken his looks on De La Torre. He's seen what he needed to see, and he's going to give other people some opportunity. I was actually surprised reading, how I usually read some of the national stuff. There was no mention of De La Torre. Like, really, there was like no mention of like, oh yeah, we're missing out on De La Torre. Like, it kind of seems like the national guys don't really seem to care right now. It, I think everyone's kind of aware of, how he's playing and how he's contributing for club and country, and the results just haven't been there for both. And yeah, I think Pochettino thinks like, hey, this is a good time for look at other options for now in October.
I mean, it's not even an addition by subtraction. It's just there wasn't really anything there, and that's one player that I think. And again, I'll recuse myself from U.S. men's national team because Mexico supporter, but
Right. Uh-huh.
I, I don't think Luca de la Torre is one of these loans that are gonna stay or is gonna be somebody who stays after the season. And I think that moving into this direction, I think he's played himself into this situation where he had the confidence, he has this the showcase of talent sometimes, but he just doesn't do it at a consistent enough basis. And I think Valakari is somebody who can offer that. And look, if you have Valakari to begin with in the starting 11, and you have a situation where you need a defensive presence in there, you're not going to throw Luca de la Torre. And even if you throw De La Torre in there, if you're down, look at what happened with San Jose. I thought that was going to be the revelation for Luca the rest of the season. That he's going to come into the San Jose game, he's going to be creative, he's going to start something, and then we're going to find his role in this team moving into playoffs. He's a sub. He can bring some creativity. He can bring some calm to Mikey Varas because he's going to look back and say, "That's right. I have De La Torre here. Let's go ahead and throw him on 65th, 75th minute, and he'll figure something out." You don't have that. What you need is to go ahead and get ahead on the scoreboard. You are 1-2-0 up, and then you throw Valakari and you substitute him for, say, Godoy, and then he's the enforcer, gets a couple yellow cards, slows the game down, and everything is, bing, bang, bong. It's done. But, I mean, I don't blame Pochettino. I guess it's a good decision. Good on him.
It's just a shame. It's just a shame that Luca's star has dimmed at this level. That when he was signed, it was like, wow, hey, we got a national team guy. And now it's like, well, he was. You can keep it on the player profile page, but he's not actually being selected because he's not playing at a level to be selected. We've had midweek training. We've got training ground sound on Chromaniacs 18 as the club is on a flight to Texas. So let's hear from head coach Mikey Varas out at Singing Hills as SDFC prepares to take on Houston Dynamo.
they're home now. You faced them back at Snapdragon. Didn't come out with the result, but kind of with the heightened point of the season, looking at the result from last game against Houston and just looking for points, what is the expectation coming out of this match, and kind of what differences can you compare from the last match that you might expect into this match?
Yeah, the main objective this week, the main thing we have on our mind is to stay consistent and to keep our highest level going for as long as possible in a game. And we know if we do that, we're going to reach playoffs in best conditions possible. And so with this match specifically, it's about how can we get pressure on a team that is very good with the ball, building in a 3-and-2 double pivot, pocket occupation. They're not afraid to play inside, outside, or the top. So that presents a great challenge for us, and we're really excited for that. And then the other one is how can we dictate play, whether they come and press us really high like they did at home, or we catch them in a little bit more of a mid block or low block. And then ultimately we all know that if we can just clean up a little bit in our final actions, making plays in both boxes, we set ourselves up for a good run.
You guys did have success against them in that match as well. How much do you look back and say, final score line notwithstanding?
Yeah,
there was a lot of things like.
We always do that, because that's life, right? Like typically you fall into the trap of when you're winning, you think everything's perfect, and when you're losing, everything's bad. But that's not actually ever the case. And when you lose a match, if you look back at it and take away the emotions, you'll see, okay, we did a lot of things well, and we need to reinforce those things, and then we need to clean up a few things. And the team has the same mentality, so that's why I think we get better and better as the season goes on.
As Chris says, there's a mentality in sports in the U.S. that I don't personally love, but it's, hey, once you're in the playoffs, that's the goal, right? Get into the playoffs, take your chances. How do you guard against that mentality of, still 2 regular season matches to go? Like, just because we're in, we haven't really done much of anything.
Because if you believe in being relentless in life, that won't even enter your head. And I don't think it'll enter any of our guys' heads. It certainly hasn't entered mine. You want to reach playoffs in best conditions possible. Rhythm is part of that. Trying to be in a winning form is part of that. And then also you always have something to play for. You don't know what the other results will as they will go. So getting the 3 points that are in front of you every week is the most important thing.
You guys have got most of your goals from your 2 wingers. Is there any place you're looking for more contributions in the attack?
Yeah, I think looking for someone to step up at the number 9 center forward position, because I think will really, really increase the amount of goals that we'll score. And then also from the number 10 position, who can really deliver clean and consistent final passes while also being a good pressing player.
And when your contributions from the 9, is that strictly about scoring, or sometimes that's just about space?
Yeah, the 3 things that we ask of the number 9 in priority is 1, arriving and being dangerous, so scoring goals, making sure that you get into scoring positions. That's your number 1 job. Number 2 is about being really good in the press, so kind of being the tip of the spear in our press. And then the third one, top priority, is to stretch the team in behind. Get in behind, because we have a lot of players who can play in the pocket. And when we have a double threat, meaning Hirving and somebody else running in behind, it creates a lot of space there, or you'll end up getting 1v1s like we've seen throughout the season.
Interesting.
Love that dude, because that's an honest question and an honest answer. And maybe it's because he feels he needs to educate his fan base and the public and the press in general as to the intricacies of the sport. I just couldn't imagine Mike Schilt ever explaining what they needed from the number 3 hitter in the lineup, and the various ways in which Manny was or was not doing the job. I mean, he's exactly right. Our number 9s are not appearing in dangerous positions ever since he who shall not be named. Everyone got so mad on the post-match show when I brought him up last time. So, Voldemort, okay, Voldlosky there. He's close, but not, if he's not there, these guys aren't getting into dangerous positions. But we just talked about Luka. The 10 isn't really doing anything to click it up either. Because of that, all of our creative passes are either coming from our two wingers or it's coming from the 6. And the 6 is supposed to be setting up the creative pass, not being the person who makes the incredible creative pass. So, yeah, that was really well laid out, the dysfunction in SDFC's attack and where it can be improved.
And I lit up because it's exactly what we kind of laid out. What was it? A couple episodes ago, talking about the 9, talking about the 10. What the 10's supposed to do? Run behind Chucky. And being that guy right behind him. That was great. Hopefully, maybe he listened to us a little bit. But yeah, we do need that number 10 because the midfield is a little bit of an issue, and when you have like Yeppe's doing a lot. Like he has so much to handle defensively that you're trying to make him move a little bit more forward. That's going to cause a lot of disruption. And when the 10 should be coming in right behind Chucky for all the goal creation, and we're just not having that with Luca Del Torre. Hopefully, it's Valakari, maybe Vasquez. I wouldn't mind seeing Vasquez out there. Give him a shot. Why not with the 2 games to go? We're going to talk about Houston a little bit. I think it's a perfect time to see what you got in that kid, because if you think he's on loan, and if you think he could be an answer there, especially with another loan and Luca Del Torre expiring next year. I think you kind of want to find out what you have in him.
But I mean, does it bring any hope to anybody that Mikey knows this? I mean, I think he's been knowing this. He's just now finally gotten to a critical mass of like, yeah, it's more than obvious, and it's the number 9. Somebody has to step up, and I think that gives confidence in that he believes that they're there. That person's already there, because they just have to do the stepping up. But yeah, I think that it's just so far along in the season that you can go ahead and try what Vasquez has. You can try all these things, but these playoffs are coming soon, and you can even use the first playoff game as a try and see to see what you have in a playoff form. But once that second game comes, you may be eliminated, and that's it. You don't get to try out anything else. So, you have 180 minutes in regular season time before playoffs. Go for it. Go for it. Throw and see, and just get rid of any sort of questions, hesitations that you may have of any of these players that Heaps threw at you, or you worked together and just signed, and you were the lone whisperer. And okay, this is what we have now. You go to war with the army that you have, not the army that you want. And the army that you have right now is 9-less, and the 10 needs work. Only Valakari can play that, but I think he hasn't been playing that consistently this whole season. So that's something else that needs to go ahead and be worked in. Can he move into a level of different gear and take those shots? That's what Luca La Torre was. He is that person who gets the rebound and then takes a shot from outside of the box or near around that 18 box. But Valakari can do the exact same thing with his left as well. So the ingredients are there. Mikey Vara said this, alluded to the ingredients being there, and he's trying to mix them up. And the fish guy is running late, so you don't have that ingredient, so you have to adapt. And sometimes you're able to do it, and sometimes you just have tortilla soup.
Well, certainly a player that the SDFC press office would hate to be without is Christopher McVeigh. He also had an opportunity to jump up to the podium at Singing Hills earlier this morning and provide us some pre-match insight as SDFC gets ready to try and take all the points from Houston this weekend. Let's hear from Chris McVeigh.
In the entire supporter shield standing.
Yeah, no, I think it's important for us to go into playoffs now with a good flow. I think that's really important. And Yeah, I mean, we always want 3 points. Houston maybe extra now since they took the points from us at home. So yeah, we're feeling that a little bit. We want to get them back, and yeah, just really try and get in a good flow and play in a good way and start winning games. Before playoff comes, because that's going to be really important.
What do you see a little bit different of this match from comparing this upcoming match compared to the first one?
I mean, for us, it's a lot of the same things. We had to tidy up some things from that game where we've talked about, and hopefully, yeah, we come in and we do that those things better. And yeah, there's been also a couple of these games lately where we've had a lot of chances, and it's also about putting away the chances. But yeah, I'm not nervous. I feel like we've played really good football in moments, and now it's just about taking the chances. So if we keep playing that way and create that many chances, the goal's gonna come. So. Yeah.
And lastly, what can you just tell us of expectations? Just playing in Texas itself is kind of unique. Sometimes weather, sometimes not, but it's just going into these atmospheres a little bit different from what we're used to here in California. But kind of what can you expect as far as atmosphere and just like the intensity of the match?
Yeah, I mean, usually it's super hot. I feel like every time I go there, it's super hot. But yeah, that's maybe because I've been playing him in the summer months. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, it's not too crazy. But either way, it's going to be the same for both teams. And I think from us, it's just from the start, keep a high intensity and really like put them under pressure. And I think that will fit us well.
Mikey.
All right, good words from Chris McVeigh, and a good chance to transition into a quick look at Houston Dynamo. It's 5:30 on Saturday for this match, the penultimate regular season match for San Diego FC. The club is unbeaten in their last 8, 7-0-1 on the road. And as we take a look for Saturday, a high of 88 expected. So I mean, all things considered, I'm not even kidding when I say this. These guys train in Singing Hills. It's been low 90s, low mid 90s, and socked in that little valley down there. So I think they should be fine with 88 at 7:30 at night, when it'll probably be down to 72 at kickoff. Not going to worry about the weather. Here's what we should worry about. I had to go back to. I mean, I was at this match. I was all the way through this match. This is one of the most frustrating matches of the entire season. This was a match that SDFC was supposed to win 3-2, and then they conceded late, and then 10 minutes of stoppage time were put on the board, or maybe it was 11, and in the 10th stoppage minute, Ponce scored, and SDFC lost 4-3. This is one of the worst matches of the year. This is revenge time for the Chrome and Azul.
Yeah, and they're trying to avoid, I think for the first time, getting swept in the season. Like, this is the first opportunity I think anyone's ever had to really finish the season against SDFC, being 2-0 against them. So that's something you want to avoid this season. And good for Chris McVeigh to talk about the weather, because this is going to be their fan appreciation game. Maybe a good crowd, but they haven't had some good crowds. They're pretty low in the standings. They're on the outside looking in. It feels just like San Jose, that they're going to play like this desperate style and just try to claw themselves back into the playoff race in one of those 9 playoff spots. Because Houston's not really that great, and they're also going to be without a few players. The first one was actually just announced today. Jack McLean, he's out for the year. So we won't see him at all. And so he's out. Eric Saviachenko, he got a red card last game. He's also out. Brooklyn Reigns, who I heard today, he scored a brace for the under 20s. He's playing on international duty, so he is out. And they have a bunch of other questionables due to injury that were out last week. So this is a team that's just barely crawling with enough healthy players. And for SDFC, you got to win this thing. You have to win this thing. the only thing is, what surprises is Houston gonna bring to you? I think you saw it all last match. They were high pressing you. There was a guy that we saw in who was the guy? Enali. Enali started his first match that game, and he was the guy that scored the first goal. He used his speed to score that goal. We already saw that, and so far, that's the only goal of the season for that guy. So there's no more surprises. We saw the team that we played last time. Um, just finish this. Just finish this game out. I got some really good information from one of the podcasts I was listening to, the Bayo City podcast. They felt like teams usually score within the first 15 minutes, and I actually look back, and they actually do. Within the first 15 minutes, teams scored just like last week against they were playing Nashville, your U.S. Open Cup champions. Hani Mukhtar scored within 2 minutes. So that happens a lot for this team. The only problem with that is within 15 minutes of the game, SanDiego.FC has only scored 3 times. But SanDiego.FC will get their chances. You can score early on this team, and you can score late in this against this team. Those chances do open up. They do break down, and this should be an easy win. They're going for their 9th unbeaten, in a row. So hopefully they can just finish out Houston, get those 3 points, and then we head up to Portland in about 15 days.
See, I see this as an opportunity for San Diego FC because this is an opportunity for a couple things. First is it's a perfect chance to get that confidence early in the game and get that scoring in, right? You're facing a team that gives up goals immediately off the gate. What better medicine for that ailment than to face a team like this and score? Like that's what you need. You need to generate the goals and the confidence. But also, it's another look at how are you going to adapt against a team that you've already faced, not just faced, but lost to, because that's what you're going to face in playoffs. You're going to face teams that you've already seen, and they have adapted to the style of play of the San Diego FC that they've already played. So, is Mikey Vada's style going to be any sorts of dynamic going into the playoffs, or is it going to be this stubborn, just same thing over and over and over again? And while I think I know the answer to that, we'll see what the best version of this same stubborn style is going to be. And it starts with this tune-up game. This is a tune-up game. You can't be satisfied with a result of a draw. You just can't. But if it's something that goes down to that, I can see it happening just like Atlanta, right? There's players who want to get good film for next year. There are players that are going to be called up. There are going to be players that don't usually get those minutes. They're going to be extra inspired. And fan appreciation night, and the reality of it is some of these players didn't get to get a lot of those minutes, and they've comped a lot of tickets for their families, and just little things that just add up to a perfect recipe to say, well, at least they got a point, and at least they remain undefeated. And that's what the press release will say after is San Diego FC remains 9 undefeated in MLS away, and that's what we're going to have to get. But it's a great opportunity for San Diego FC to really put the things that they've been emphasizing in practice and training on the field, because 180 minutes, that's all you have for practice. You have 180 minutes to practice in regular season, and then games really matter. And I know Mikey was saying, well, you have to get the 3 points ahead. Very soon, there's no more points. Very soon,
Right.
it's only
Just wins.
Games wins. Yep.
Well, that's exactly right, Tony. And just kind of re-underlining what Alex said earlier, I look at this match and I look at the first 30 minutes of this match. Can SDFC show their ability to take control of a match? They did score in Atlanta in, I think it was like 35. It was somewhere in the 30s when they scored, but that was a giveaway. That was not a goal made out of a buildup of play. It was just a straight up giveaway. Can SDFC put the hammer down? This is a Houston Dynamo team that has lost 8 of their 16 home matches, but they do have 5 wins. And their last 2 home fixtures, they've allowed 0 and 1. They've won once, 1-0, and they've tied once, 1-1. So that tells me they're not completely fallen apart, giving up 2, 3, 4 goals all the time. It's not a broken defense. They did that on the road at a good team, Nashville, but at home on fan appreciation night, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to win 1-0. And I think the way to beat SDFC is to try and win 1-0. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Dynamo go against kind of a lot of the things Tony was just talking about, the abuelita in the stands and, all of the different kind of various pressures to go for it and be sexy and creative and really dynamic, and instead be kind of a team that still 3 points could put them into the playoff. So a team that acts incredibly disciplined and says, in front of our home crowd, we're going to try and get 3 points at all costs. And the way to do that is to not attack, to keep 8 people back all the time and 11 back in the final third, and go for one counter and beat SDFC that way. I feel like that's how SDFC has to attack this match, boys, because if they go in looking for the free-flowing contest they had here against Dynamo 4-3, final, and think, oh, we got to go hunt our 3 goals, I think they're going to be shocked at what they find.
Everything is a playoff game for me on that. I'm sorry, Alex, but yeah, everything is a playoff game. When it comes to Houston, this is a playoff game because they are still playing for their lives. When it comes to Portland, yeah, they're in playoffs, but that's the atmosphere. So you have 2 different versions of a dress rehearsal for playoffs, and you have to take the maximum out of both.
Yeah, and when you're talking about style play, Craig, it feels like the last time I saw the style play that SanDiego FC wants to play was actually in this Houston Dynamo game when it was a throw-in by McVeigh that went to Godoy. Godoy went to Verhoeven to Valakari, and it just kept building up until Oloski finished it. I feel like that was the last time I saw that, and I haven't seen many goals like that happen where it started from one end to the other. And I do hope that they figure that out, because I know that's the style of play that they want to play. They want to build from the back. They want to, show this build up and finish it off at the very end. And I do hope we get to see that. And just one last thing, when it comes to games faced or matches they faced first and took the loss, it was Austin and Colorado. They played those teams first, and then the second time around they won both games. So this is the third time they've actually get to, hopefully they get to adjust, and they saw the style play, they adjusted, and hopefully we see a win out of it on Saturday.
Well, we'll be around to talk about it for post-match action as SDFC plays match 33 of season number 1, taking on Houston Dynamo, 5:30. I know there's some watch parties here, there, and everywhere for the various supporters groups. SDFC is doing one at the beach. Did you guys see that?
Beach Fest.
Pacific Beach, yeah.
They're going to be at Pacific Beach Fest. So if you want to watch the game at the beach, you can go to Pacific Beach, watch it with SDFC. What if they're going to make Jerry run around there and
probably
dogs and such?
Keep the shirt on, Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, just for the sake of things, yeah. So either way, we'll be back around. I mean, heck, I know I'll be watching because ain't no Padre playoff game that would have otherwise been in direct conflict. So should be a great time. SDFC,
save us.
You're our only hope.
You're our only hope.
Save us, Obi-Wan Mikey Varas. You're our only hope. Oh. All right, Tony, tell everybody how they can follow the outstanding work that is being done, helping carry the torch for independent soccer journalism in San Diego.
Absolutely. You can find everything that we do on 2 balls and a mic, and SanDiego.Futbol. That is the name of the game. SanDiego.Futbol, the website, articles by Abe, San Diego Wave, San Diego FC, all sorts of coverage on there. The full media availability, even though we pretty much heard it here, is always available on SanDiego.Futbol. Alex.
Yeah, that's where I go to get all my information. Chromatic FC for me on Substack. Go to Who Knows Alex on Blue Sky if you want to talk some footy. And look at us. It's October, and we could watch soccer at the beach.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nice 78
That's awesome.
degrees. It's we have it so great here in this city.
Yeah, suck it, Nashville. You can't do that. Never mind Houston. Good luck with that.
Forget Houston.
Have all your streets drained yet? Sorry, too soon?
Oh my gosh. I love that.
Look, I'm just asking questions.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just asking questions. And I have no answers, but you can follow us at the Chromaniacs on Instagram. Please do, where you'll see clips that are put together by our buddy Terrible SDFC Memes. And he does such an incredible job for us. Yes. Number moving up once again. Appreciate you guys. Please follow us on the Chromaniacs. Padres Hot Tub is still going. We just did our end of season show today, but that doesn't mean that just means the off season begins. Patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub for everything that happens. It might be a momentous off season. I don't know. I hope it's not that momentous, but we'll find out. Patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub. If you go there, no, you are directly helping me. Me and Chris and Rafi, but me. So if you want to help me out, thank you. Patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub. For Tony Sanchez and Alex Pena, I'm Craig Elston. Until we talk to you after the next final whistle, vamos, SDFC.